All right, good morning, everybody. I am at my house, my real house, and trying to get this side shade yard bed cleaned up a bit and planted up a bit. So I did get a lot of the leaves out, not 100%. It's actually starting to sprinkle on me, so I wanted to get a quick video in before it gets too bad because we are expecting rain. But anyway, all of this came out of this bed, and I'm really only about halfway done. I really should get this whole side better over here, but I will do that next time. So over here you can see we have some hostas, some hellebores. These are the two hellebores that I planted last year. This one has some pretty blooms on it. This one, I'm not really sure what happened. It looks like the part with the blooms got frozen, maybe like frost damage or something. I'm not really sure if that's gonna bloom, but that appears to be a bud. So anyway, those aren't looking the best, but if you recall, we had a drought over winter, and I had just planted these last like fallish, I think. Anyway, all the hostas in here were already in here. This is my Aurelia Sun King, which is a perennial. It dies all the way to the ground every year and comes back every year, and it will look like a shrub if I don't move it. I am still planning to move it, but I haven't decided where. Because it needs to be a little bit further toward the back, and I decided to put these ferns right here in the back. My next door neighbor at my rental house just offered me some ferns that were... He has a fern bed on the north side of his house, but it had started growing like out into the lawn, so he's like, if you want to dig those up, you can have them. And they're the ostrich type that get like the fiddle leaf head on them. So I love ferns. It's like one of my favorite plants. So I got those. This is my phlox. Do you guys remember the story about the phlox? So my neighbor across the street had given me some phlox, and I planted it over on that side of my house. When the tree fell down, they came over with their tractor things to remove the tree, and they ran over my garden that was on that side of the house. And this was one of the things that I thought was completely dead, but it started growing back up from the ground this spring. So I was really happy about that, and I'm moving it over here. Hopefully it'll be enough sun. Like, I don't think they need a lot of sun, but I don't have a lot of experience growing phlox, so I guess we'll just have to see how it works out. But I just wanted to put it somewhere where it was going to be out of the way of the construction stuff, which will be happening over there. Right here, I planted 3 little starts or slips or whatever you want to call it, plugs of hydrangea, annabelle, the real true annabelle, the one that gets the floppy stems. And I don't know why I've always wanted annabelle, and it doesn't bother me that it's a little bit floppy. So I finally got some, and let's just see how it does here. This is probably something that I'm going to end up moving into the backyard once the fence is up, because I am worried about the deer browsing on them. But pretty soon at our property, we're going to have... Sorry, I'm just tamping down the soil. Pretty soon at our property, we're going to have people here every day for hours every day. And so I think we're going to have a lot less deer during that time. And then, like, even in the evening, hopefully the residual smell of, extra humans around will just keep them less interested in my yard, but we'll see. They haven't really gone after the hostas too bad. I think I've seen a couple bite marks, like maybe right here and a little bit over there. But, I mean, they're not eating them all the way to the ground. Now watch me say that next time I come over, they could all be gone, but we'll see. I have a couple of heuchera that are coming back from last year. I wasn't sure if those were going to come back because, again, I planted them like last summer, late summer or fallish time frame, and we were not getting a lot of water, so I wasn't sure how those were going to do, but they seem to be hanging in there. And then I had a couple more pieces of that ostrich fern, which I planted over here. I have some white bleeding hearts. Just one small little bloom there. I don't know why it won't focus. Hopefully that'll get more blooms. And here's some astilbe. And then everything else is pretty much the same. I got to do this side. One of my big projects this year is going to be to come over here and bring the root and stump killer stuff that you paint on after you cut it. And I need to cut it back at the base and paint some of that little root stump killer stuff on it and get all of this ivy to stop creeping in. Unfortunately, it's really in my neighbor's yard as well, so I'm going to ask them if I can try to get all of that out. Otherwise, I'm going to be dealing with it constantly. This hosta right here, I'm not sure if it made it. I don't see any growth on it. Not even anything at the base. So I think this one may not have made it. I say this probably every year, but I think I might mean it this time. The ones that they call macrophylla, they have a big leaf, and they change colors depending on the soil type you have, like whether it's more acidic or more alkaline. Those never seem to make it for me. Now, granted, last year we had the drought, and I couldn't give it supplemental water. But this one, that was in this pot, same thing. And I think the other issue that we have is that we just get too cold in the winter. So I need to make a decision on either just not growing that type or only growing them in pots, and then every year having to move them into my garage or my little sunroom off of the garage to give it just a little bit of added protection from the wind and the bitter cold, because I just think they just can't make it. I've lost, I don't know, probably 5 now over the years. So that is what I got done today. I'm gonna take you for a quick look down at the terrace. Our peony buds are swelling up, not too big yet, but they do have the ants on them. Like that's normal every year. Sorry about the planes. Reminder, I live right by an airport. So the other day I mentioned I was going to plant my little potato plant vines. I did get those planted. These don't look super great because I bought them on clearance. I try to buy everything on clearance, if you hadn't noticed. But they're super fast growers, so they'll push out tons of growth here soon once it gets warmer. My purple prince. Oh, some oregano growing in the back corner right where it's supposed to be. That's good. My garden's looking very unbalanced. Like all the color is from like here over. So like here over, just green. But next year that'll change. We've got all those anemone bulbs planted throughout this entire upper terrace to bring color to this whole middle terrace. And then down here, I will remember in the fall that I need to add things that bloom at the same time as like all of this stuff here. And then, like, for instance, the iris, the bearded iris that I just transplanted back here at late winter this year, those won't do anything for me really this year, but next year, hopefully, they'll have had enough time that they can sprout up and bloom. Here's our beautiful little yellow yarrow. So pretty. I can't wait for all of those to be doing good and just kind of blooming full. Like that one only has little one sprig at the moment. This one has a lot though. Look at these. Oh, this one's doing really good. These closest to the wall probably getting more heat. Maybe that's why they're kind of blooming sooner, you know. Here's my Iberis coming back to life. I can't believe this freaking plant is gonna bloom after I butchered it, cut it into 3 parts, and moved it down here and didn't water it. Can't believe it, but I'm thankful that it's making it. Let's see if this one's doing any. This was the 3rd piece, and I don't think this piece is gonna make it. I see no green anything, but it's not too big of an eyesore. I'll just leave it for a little bit longer and we'll see what happens. We're starting to get our first pink salvia blooms. This looks nice up against the purple of the alliums. I discovered that I really like orange and purple together. So many blooms on the iris. I just love a mature iris stand. Oh, there's some that are flopping over. I have some stakes at my other house. I'll have to bring those back next time and start staking some of those up. But yeah, a mature stand of iris, you know, as long as you thin them out every few years so they don't get too crowded. What is prettier than that? And then even after they're done blooming, I really like the structure of the foliage, personally. I feel like some people don't like iris that much, and I don't understand that. These are the purple scabiosa. These look good. I mean, they're not super settled in yet, but the nice thing about this plant is that once it gets settled in, it basically just keeps blooming and blooming, and the pollinators really love it, and it's an easy plant. It takes drought, takes hot sun. It's just a good one. Those are the little dianthus annuals that I planted. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video or if I did this after the last video. I transplanted some of my black-eyed Susans from the other house, but here's the issue. I had at the other house black-eyed Susans and yellow coreopsis, and I couldn't really tell which was which based on the leaf type. So I tried to put the black-eyed Susans down here, and I put some yellow coreopsis up there. They're kind of like in front of the purple iris, but behind this little row of pink salvia. You can see that clump. Anyway, I figured even if the black-eyed Susans ended up there and the yellow coreopsis ended up down here, it doesn't really matter. I'm adding pretty yellow flowers to both areas. And same thing on the other side. I added some more of what I think is black-eyed Susan on this end. But again, it could end up being the yellow coreopsis. So that'll just be a surprise. But that's about it. It's a lovely overcast day. I love catching video on this kind of day because it just effortlessly looks better, I think, the lighting. This fall, when we move back into the house, I do want to take both of these peonies out and let this Jade Parade Sand Cherry grow more to both sides. I think it will get wider if I let it continue growing wider, and then I'll just keep cutting the front of it so it stays kind of contained within that terrace. But I really just like the branching structure of it. It's just a cool plant, and I like the way that it grows. Like, this stays like this bright green, and then this I think will get a little bit darker if I remember, but anyway, it's a nice contrast against each other, and I just really like the way it looks. So got that. And then this guy right here, I kind of feel like it's too big and bushy to have right there, like right at the front. So I'm thinking about maybe digging this up. I don't know that I feel comfortable moving it right now. I don't know that we have enough rain coming, although these don't require a lot of moisture. But where would I put it? One of the problems that I'm running into right now is I really need to stop planting in this terrace because I've planted all of these corms. I've planted tons of nasturtiums of multiple different colors. So we're going to start seeing those growing up. And what I don't want to do is like dig down in to plant a new plant and disturb something that's growing underground, or have like the thing that I already planted now growing up and through whatever new plant that I try to put in there. Like I know I planted I think I planted dahlias around in the back top area, but I don't 100% remember. It might have been down here along the back wall. So I've got some dahlias planted somewhere. Anyway, yeah, I basically just need to stop planting in this garden and just let it grow, take notes of what changes I'm going to make in the fall, and be happy with the progress that I've already made this year. And then I'm going to be focusing way more on my work garden. And then if I just have that itch that I just have to buy a plant for my own garden, I can plant it at the other house and then transplant it over here in the fall. So that's what I'm going to try to make myself do. Be disciplined and all that stuff. Okay, well that's really all there is to see. Things are looking pretty. You know, let me get one close up. I always look at my videos afterward and I'm like, why do you never slow down? Why do you never get a close up on the really pretty stuff? Maybe that's too close. I shouldn't have that pile of fence up there. Hopefully that'll be gone soon. I would really love to get like a truckload of manure, compost, and put it in all around my plants this year. But I don't really have the money for that. And the only way to do it would be to like put it somewhere in this area, and I don't want to dump it on the ground on the road. That would be rude, and I couldn't get it up fast enough anyway, and then it would like leave a mess. So I would have to do it from the backyard, and there's going to be a lot of equipment, construction equipment and stuff this spring and summer. So I think that's going to have to wait. I'll just keep bringing bags of either compost or mulch and do the best I can as I go. Speaking of compost, the area in my backyard, I don't know if I'm going to show it to you. That's a deer hoof print. Probably. The area in my backyard where I have my compost pile, I need to pull all that stuff off the top and get to the really good black compost on the bottom, because I know it's there, and start spreading that around my yard too. So I've got lots of, let me show you the 4 o'clock nasturtiums that are coming up. So these are the nasturtiums. I planted 2 types in here. One is called Yeti, which has a yellowish color, and the other one is called, I think it's Salmon Gleam. Here's a good image of what the 4 o'clocks look like when they come up. This one, I think that might be something else. Anyway, those Salmon Gleam and Yeti, that particular type of nasturtium, says they get up to like 72 or 80 inches tall, something like that. So tall or long, they can trail or they can climb up. So I want them to climb up and through my 4 o'clocks, and also maybe trail down the front of this wall here, and that will give a really pretty effect. Oh, and then this hollyhock right here, I think that's what this is. I am going to dig this up. I don't think it's transplantable, but as pretty as hollyhocks are in the right place, that's not the right place. It's not where I want it, and it's just going to interfere with the image I was trying to get. with the 4 o'clocks and the hollyhocks. I mean the nasturtiums. So, time to gather up my stuff and go. You all have a lovely day in your gardens, and I'll talk to you next time.